Hi, my name is Stacey Morier, and I'm the founding lawyer of Estate Connection Law Office in St. Albert, Alberta. We had a question posed to our office recently, and I wanted to take some time to answer it because more of you might have this question out there. What happens if your executor on your documents has died and you don't have a backup? Sometimes I see this in estate documents, especially older documents where maybe the intention was that the person would come back more regularly and they just never got around to it. So I've actually seen wills where someone has appointed their spouse to be the executor. And if there's no one else, or if the spouse dies, there's no one else listed. That can cause us some problems because if your spouse dies and you haven't taken the time to update your will, well, what's going to occur? Better example yet would probably be what happens if you've appointed your nephew to be your executor, or maybe it's your daughter and something happens to them. Who's going to be the backup? Well, at common law, the backup is actually goes through their will. So, for instance, if you've appointed your daughter to be your executor and there's no one that on your face of your documents who would take over that role if something happened to your daughter, then it actually goes through her will. So maybe she listed her spouse, and so your old son in law. That could end up being your executor. And sometimes that's not in your best interest, especially if maybe that person's moved on and is in a second marriage, or maybe there was a divorce subsequently. It may not be exactly what you want to have happen. So for those reasons, it's really important to make sure that in your documents you have a backup. We all have plans that will come back together and update your documents in the future. But if you have a stroke or develop dementia, that just might not be an option. So I like to see three layers in the wills that I draft. I try to push my clients. Some of them think I'm a little bit crazy when I ask them, what happens if all these people die? But I do it because I can't guarantee that you're going to come back to our office. So on my will, I have my spouse appointed. If my spouse isn't around, I have a child appointed. If my child's not around, then I have my mom and dad. So it's three levels. And if all those people die, well, yes, we have bigger problems, but at least I have a backup. For some of you, that's too many people and you only want to have two. So, if your spouse isn't around, it's your child. Whatever you're looking to do with your documents, make sure that you have options because you don't want your executor determined by someone else's will. That's when the fights start. Questions or concerns? Maybe you have a will where your executors died and you don't know what's going to happen if something should happen to you. Give us a call. We're here to help.